All right, everybody. So this is a 0 day and I'm going to try something a little different. Sorry for my framing in the camera here. I've got this camera rigged up on an ice bucket and some granola bars holding it up. So instead of doing a regular daily vlog on a 0 day when I'm not doing much other than went to breakfast and I've been kind of just piddling around in the room, icing my ankle, things like that, I thought I'd do a little bit for those of you that are new here or maybe weren't around for my AT hike and just have questions about me and my why for doing the PCT. So I do have a few notes here just to try to keep this a little bit concise. However, there's no real one answer to any of this, so I may be all over the board here. So just so you know, what I plan to do here is keep this fairly quick because I had to turn the room air conditioner off while I do this, and it's 100 degrees outside because it's kind of loud. So first I'm going to talk about my why for the PCT, why I'm doing this. I'm going to talk a little bit about my why for the AT and why the difference I think makes my experience very different between the two different trails. And then there seems to be questions that people always want to know that, I don't know, like a little more personal questions that we usually don't talk about much on these vlogs. I have gotten several questions about what is my occupation, what do I do for health insurance, and how is it that I'm able to take off, 6 months at a time for journeys like this. So let me jump right into my why for the PCT. So quite honestly, I don't have any kind of emotional connection to this trail. I don't have any strong convictions. It wasn't something where like on the AT, I just felt so compelled, like I could not go on in life until I thru hiked the AT. The PCT really for me was, I want to be a triple crowner. And for those of you that don't know, a triple crowner is someone who has hiked all three of the major long trails in the United States, the Appalachian Trail, the Pacific Crest Trail, and the Continental Divide Trail. So the PCT was just kind of the logical next thing when it comes to wanting to be a triple crowner. The other thing is I loved trail life on the Appalachian Trail, and I missed it. I missed living the way we live on trail. I missed carrying everything I need to thrive on my back. I like going into towns for a day or a part of a day and just doing what we got to do and then going back out to nature. You may see some place and you're like, you know what, I'm staying here today. And you can. You have that kind of flexibility and freedom on a thru hike. I mean, you have to make miles and balance that, but I really missed trail life and was ready to come back to a long trail. And the PCT was just kind of the next thing. Now, different people hike long trails for different reasons. Some do it for adventure. Some do it just for, the time away. Some do it because they want to see all the sights. We all have different reasons why we do this. Quite honestly, mine is first and foremost to challenge myself. I want to push my limits. I want to see where my limits are and maybe try to push them further. I like to challenge myself, but physically, mentally, emotionally. And really, that's probably why a lot of my thoughts are the way they are about, hiking a pure hike and things like that, because it's a challenge for me. I don't want to cut corners. And I guess this sounds a little sadistic, but a lot of us out here are like this. We want to push ourselves to the point to see where we're going to break and figure out strategies to prevent ourselves from breaking, which extends our limitations for the future. So that's kind of my why for the PCT, and I think that's why I don't have a lot of emotion on this trail. I didn't really know a lot about the trail. I mean, I knew what I thought I knew about the trail was in the first 1,000 miles. I really know nothing about the rest of the trail. The AT, let's talk about that. My why for the AT, I'm going to go back a good bit. I'm going to go back to probably 2011, 2012. One day I stood on the scale and I'd gotten up to 250 pounds and, hold on, my camera's sliding. And it just was not, I wasn't happy. So I started eventually running very slowly, very short distances at first. I started also kind of on a separate journey trying to become more of a minimalist. I started getting rid of stuff. I had a house in the suburbs. I had a great career, It wasn't like I was depressed or anything. I just wasn't happy with the trajectory of my life. And one day I decided I'm going to lose weight and do something different. I came across through hiking and the realization that, wow, this is a thing that people walk very, very long distances. And I kind of became completely and utterly obsessed with having to hike the Appalachian Trail. And I learned so much about the trail. I watched so many vlogs. There were all these kind of milestone places in my head that when I get there, I'm going to feel this or I'm going to feel that. If you watch my AT hike, I cried a lot. I cried on day one. I cried 20 times. I don't know. I cried on camera a lot. Like, I was so emotionally invested in that hike. And I think for me, it was about proving to myself that I was no longer that fat guy that was not healthy and not happy. And I was doing something incredible. I do think these hikes are incredible. If you don't, fine. But for me, it was a huge physical feat. It was a huge mental and emotional accomplishment. And I was just so emotionally tied and connected to the AT. I've been back to the AT just for like trail days and been on trail for short periods of time. And I feel the emotions. I feel the feels every time I step on the AT. And I just don't feel that out here. So I think a lot of it is just because of the difference in my connection and conviction to the trail. So this is a great experience. I think everybody should do it. It's pushed my limits in ways the AT never could have. So I'm grateful that I'm here. I'm happy that I'm doing this, but it's just not the same emotional experience for me. Let's see. What else am I going to talk about here? So my occupation right now, I'm an unemployed hiker. I guess we could say I'm a YouTuber, but that doesn't pay very much. What I did for about 19 years, I worked for the federal government. I was a district manager for a large federal agency that you've probably all heard of. I'm not going to go into a lot of details about that, but I did that for 18 years, and then I went back to the same agency after the Appalachian Trail. At the time, I really thought that the AT was going to be a once in a lifetime experience, and I was going to go back to normal life once I accomplished that. And like so many thru hikers, it just didn't work out that way. Once I got back to that life, I didn't feel the value in anymore. I think a lot of it is thru hiking changes your perspectives. It changes the way you look at things. And I spent most of my life putting a lot of value on saving money and having money and just value in money. And the AT taught me that life experience and adventure are so much more valuable. You could get into a whole discussion of what is wealth. And for me, I don't care about the cars and the houses and all that kind of stuff that I used to have. Quite honestly, I had a 3-bedroom home. I lived in alone. It was a nice house in the suburbs. I got rid of everything. It was full of stuff. Everything I own now, I don't even have a storage unit. I had a storage unit when I was on the Appalachian Trail, but I've gotten rid of all that. Everything I own, other than my backpack that I have and the stuff in it that I have with me, I have stored under my parents' basement stairs. I just don't have a lot of stuff anymore. And that makes me feel happy to not have that stuff to weigh me down. So the changing in value and what is wealth and what matters in life, I had a really hard time going back to doing the same thing. Now, after the PCT, I don't know, maybe I will want to go back and do something like that. Maybe not. I don't know that I would go back to the same agency. Quite honestly, I probably can't go back to the same agency. I quit twice in 2 years, so that's probably not an option any longer. But there are other federal agencies. But I don't know that I want to do that anymore. I gave 19 years of my life to public service, and I loved every bit of it. I loved what I did, but it doesn't match my value system any longer. So I don't know what the future is going to hold or what my new occupation is going to be. But for the majority of my working life, I was a district manager, and basically I just managed facilities people and everything to do with the operation. So do I want to manage people again? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see about that. So I've gotten a question several times. Well, I don't understand how people can take 6 months away from life. I think I've kind of answered that already. I don't have stuff. I have parents and a sister and an extended family, but I don't have my own family. I don't have people that are depending on me. I just have my dog, and she's in good hands with my parents right now. I don't have a home. I don't have stuff. I don't have things. I don't have things that I have to be responsible for. So it's easier for me to leave and be away because I don't have those obligations. It's hard to transition from having all those obligations to getting rid of them, but it's something that it's made me a happier person doing that. Going back to how can I get away and do this, I saved money for a lot of years. I sold my home, so I have to go back to work. I have to do some work. I'm not wealthy. I don't have money to live on forever. I had enough money to do a few hikes, and that's about where I'm at. I've got several times people have asked about health insurance because you're planning hikes or wondering about hikes. Actually, I got this question today on a recent video. I do have health insurance. It's something I have to self-pay for. I know there's a lot of hikers out here that don't have health insurance at all. I did buy health insurance through just the marketplace, and I do have search and rescue insurance through Garmin. Other than that, my only bills are my dog and my cell phone bill. So that's all I have off trail. So I have talked long enough. I hope I've answered all your questions. If you have any other questions, feel free to drop them in the comments here. Maybe I'll do another video like this. Maybe not. We'll just see what y'all think. So have a good day, everybody. We'll be back on trail tomorrow morning. Looking forward to seeing you then.